Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Sadi Dalit Amud Aleph, last line. Hanadesh made Rishub ben Korcha. Paro Shahidib Basmo. Paro cursed God personally. Nifraj Baruch Hu Me'asmo. Hashem himself personally came to punish him. Sanherib Shahidef al Deshliach. Sanherib who sent someone to Yerushalayim to curse God. Nifrach Baruch Hu Me'asmo. To Hashem sent a messenger to kill Sanherib. Harati Beit Mi Asher Hashem Mishma Bekolo. That's where Paro cursed Hashem. And Nifrach Baruch Hu Me'asmo. Shadikti Ben Ayat Hashem Et Mitzrayim Betohayam. Utiv Derach B'yom Besusecha. We see Hashem did it personally to Paro. Sanherib Sanherib says B'yad Malachecha Hadaf Hashem. Three messengers. He cursed Hashem. Nifrach Baruch Hu Me'menu Ayat Shliach. Therefore Hashem sent Shliach. Utiv B'yat Malach Hashem B'yat Machaneh Sher Ashur 180,000. Hashem sent an angel to punish him. Rabbi Hanina had a steal. Ktib Marom Kiso. He said, I'll attack Hashem to the top of the heights. Uktib Melon Kiso, also I'll attack Hashem from the lower heights. What's going on? Sanherib said, but first I'll destroy his Beit HaMikdash on earth. Then I'll destroy his throne in heaven. Good luck. Hashem Amar ala aretz hazot veheshchita. Mahi, what does it mean? When did Hashem ever tell these people that I'll destroy it? Where it says, he heard Yeshaya say in Hashem's name, Ayan ki ma'asa am hazeh et meh shudoch achim la'at, u'mesosat retzin b'emen Eliyahu. We see from this Pesachim that it says seemingly that they rejected the waters, and Ritzin and Ben Eliyahu will take over what's going on. Mario Yosef was blind, could not read, and therefore he had to learn everything in Targum. It was not for Targum, I would not understand it. And how did he understand it? In Targum, they explain it as follows. The people despised the kingdom of the Melech, which leads the waters of the Shiloach River to flow gently. And instead they preferred the kingship of the other countries, which teaches you that Yehezkiah, who was king at the time, ruled over Yehuda in a nice way, like the waters of the Shiloach. However, the other people who did not like Hezkiah, they wanted to do like the bad things, like the other king of Pekach ben Eliyahu, the other king of Bnei Israel, and the other king as well, the king of the Aramaim, which was Rasin. So therefore, he said, because you despise David HaMelech, you will face punishment. This is referring to Pekach, the king. He was so obsessed with this world. After his meal, he would eat 40 se'ahs of young birds for dessert, which is kind of a curse, because that means it was so hard for him to become full. He would just eat a small serving of vegetables as his meal. We see from here that a person's desires is what makes him to be his biggest blessing or not. So a person desires little, he'll be satiated with little. A person desires everything, he'll never become satiated. Okay, Yeshayahu said that Hashem will bring the tax on the king of Ashur. This teaches you that Sanherib thought that Bnei Israel was going to be the one invading Yerushalayim. If that's the case, why was Sanherib punished? He was just trying to follow a prophecy. It really wasn't about them. It was about the prophecy about the 10 Shivatim that will get Galut, not Yehuda. Sanherib, however, wanted to conquer entire Yerushalayim. He told him, the words ayef, tired, means the Bnei Israel that's tired by learning Torah all day through Hezkiah Melech will not be delivered into the hands of Sanherib. What does the pasuk mean? The beginning of Bnei Israel, of the 10 tribes who did not pay attention to Torah, were exiled. But the later one, the kingdom of Judah through Hezkiah, who learned extra Torah, Urina level as soon as they were able to have miracles. The people who left Mitzrayim with the Yam Suf and the people who through Yoshua, they passed through the Yarden River. If Sanhedrin changes his mind and doesn't attack, then he'll be fine. But if not, I will make him the joke of the nations. So why was it happening in that verse? If Hezekiah did so well, why did he deserve this? After what? Hashem swore to bring Sanhedrin to Yerushalayim so he could fail there. Meaning, yeah, I mean, like Hezekiah, but Hezekiah, I'm not telling you, I'll bring you some hadith to you, and I'll let you beat him. Hashdamar, he'll say, Lo hu ba'ina v'lo ba'dud ba'ina. I don't want him, and I don't want to destroy him. Miyad kavas barachu b'nishba, for Hashem did it himself. The Masini Allah, because I'll bring Sanhedrin to Yerushalayim. This shenamar nishba Hashem tzvakot lemor. Im lo kasher dimiti yetkin ha'ita v'chashri astehi takum nishbor ashur v'arsi v'al harai avusennu v'samar lenu b'alo v'subba bolo me'al shechmo yasur. So it wasn't his reward to get Sanhedrin to come to him. Rather, it means Hashem wanted to get Sanhedrin delivered to Hezekiah on a silver platter. Sanhedrin and his people come to attack, and they will be the animal fodder. Their corpses will be left for the animals of Hezekiah. The all the yoke of Sanhedrin was broken by the shemen, the oil. Hezekiah had the link, but they can situation because he would burn oil all night and all day that people could learn Torah throughout the night. Ma'asa, what did he do to make people learn? He put a sword by the door of the Bet Midrash, and he said, "Kol mi she'eno oseh b'Torah does not learn Torah, will be killed by this." And what was the result of that? From this city to that city, they didn't find a single person who did not know Torah. In these two cities, they did not find a boy, girl, man, or woman did not know these intricate and complex halachot. Therefore, the generation was talked about said, even though that land was so valuable that 1,000 vines are worth 1,000 pieces of silver, so expensive, it would still be just growing thorns because people were so interested in learning Torah versus working. Go get the spoils of war from the soldiers there. I'm really said, are we able to take whatever we want, or are we splitting it? Now, do we take whatever we pick up, or do we split it with other people evenly? The same way you gather locusts. Locusts gather. Locusts gather personally. Therefore, you too, when you take the spoils of war, you can take it personally. The Jews said to Yeshaya, but the wealth of the 10 Shivatim that were exiled are mixed in this pile of spoils of war. How can we take it? The Gemara says, the same way water in a pool would take someone from Tumah to Tahara, like a mikveh. So too, the fact that the money transfers from one person to the next, from the goy back to the Jew to goy to Jew, it became the goy, and therefore it doesn't belong to the Jew anymore, and therefore if you get it from the spoils of war, it's yours. Amon Moab was cleansed by Sihon, which means Bnei Israel, when they attacked Amon Moab, they weren't allowed to touch the spoils of war. Sihon took the spoils of war, and when Bnei Israel wiped out Sihon, they were able to take all the spoils of war because it was quote unquote cleansed by Sihon. Maravuna. The Sanhedrin made 10 marches on that day that he tried to get Yerushalayim. That's 12, not 10. The says, that was just the Navi telling Bnei Israel to cry, not actually a place. He says, Bnei Israel, the daughter of the considered the daughter of Abraham and Yaakov, she'asu me'isot k'yam, they did mitzvot like the waves of the sea. He's asking them he's speaking to them as a whole, not as a location. Hakshivi Laisha, what does that mean? Mahai lo tispeti, he's telling Bnei Israel, don't be afraid of Sanhedrin. But you should be worried about a future king, Nebuchadnezzar, who's like a lion. Remember, it says, "My anatot." What did Isha mean when he said you pour anayatot? Anatot, atid Yirmiyah means that Ben Halikiah and Matnias is referring to Yirmiyah, who will come in the future to make a prophecy about how Yerushalayim and the kingdom of Judah will collapse. Tiv, Divrei Yirmiyah ben Halikiah, Min HaKohanim Asher ben Anatot ben Etzkim. Therefore, they weren't mentioned places. This is just telling you what's happening in the future. Midami, the Gemara says, we mentioned Navi, he was like a lion. We connected the words. The Gemara says, 1 second. Hatam Ari HaChalaysh. Different prophecy words. One used the word Ari, which is lion. The other one used the word Laish. Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Sheisha, Shemot, Desh, Ari. The lion has 6 names. Elohen, the following: Ari, Kefir, Lavi, Laish, Shahal, Shahatz. The name Kefir rings very dearly to us. He was definitely a lion of our time. Yahi Basvilu, the Gemara says, okay, if that's the case that you mentioned 10 places and you took away 3 words, now you have less than 10 places. The Gemara says, Avrum Mabra, Avrum Mabara was not 2 places, but rather, not 1 place, but rather 2 places, therefore you have 10 again. My Od Hayom Benov Lamor. What does it mean that Sanhedrin stood there in Nov? Marafuna, that means, that day was the last day that Bnei Israel were eligible to be punished for what happened in Nov, the day that for what happened with the Shaul who killed the city Nov Kohanim. That was the last day that Hashem would have allowed retribution on Bnei Israel. How? I'm really the guy when Sanhedrin was far away from Yerushalayim, his astrologers told him, Yazar, even if you go now, I feel that you could kill Bnei Israel. If you don't attack Yerushalayim today, you won't be able to overcome it. What did he do? He had a 10-day march to get there. So he did it in 1 day. He went to Jerusalem, he got to Jerusalem, he made piles so he could see over the wall. He did see holy Jerusalem. When he said, it looks very small. Amar Haloda, he cut Jerusalem. This is the big Jerusalem I should be afraid of. That I brought all my army here. It looks like it's one of the smallest countries, much smaller than anything else I've conquered. Hello, he Allah he just said, you know what? He shook his head. He's like, I don't need to do this. He waves his hand at the Bet HaMikdash, and at the Azara. Amri and his soldier said, come, let's attack the city right now. Let's wipe it out. He answered them back, Tamhitu. You're too tired. We'll do it tomorrow. Each one of us tomorrow can just take 1 piece of stone from the walls will be gone, and then we can attack. Miyad that night. The angel went out. The angel killed 185,000 soldiers. The next morning, the other guys woke up, and it was full of corpses. He had the opportunity that day to do it. He waited overnight, and he lost. Justice, when you delay it, will cancel justice. Meaning, same way, if you delay a case, you can lose your momentum, lose the justice. So too over here as well. Had they attacked that day, they would have been successful. But he didn't, and he lost. Orpah had a son, Yishbi, besides Goliath, who's also a massive giant. His weight of his spearhead was 300 shekels of brass. His word in new armor, and he wanted to kill David. My Yishbi Benov, Yishbi Benov, Ish Sheba al Iskenov. David's attacker came because of what happened at Nov. How long will this sin of the fact that the Kohanim died because of you? We said that they fed him and he didn't protect them, or he didn't tell them that he was running away from Shaul. He didn't know he was putting that. They didn't know they were putting themselves at risk by helping him. So Hashem considered it as his sin. Because of you, they all died. And because of you, the Doeg was driven from the Olam Haba because he snitched on you. By the Khan and and through all that, Shaul and his three sons were killed. How would you have to get punished? Should your children be wiped out? Or should you be handed over into the enemy's hand? Nabi said, it's better for him to get killed by the enemy and not that, or captured by the enemy and not have his children slaughtered and lost. When they went hunting, it has the Satan appeared as a deer. David shot an arrow at it, but it missed. He tried to chase it. Adam let it Plishtim and brought him all the way out of his kingdom, all the way outside to the Plishtim. When Yishbi saw him, Amar Hanu the Goliath Achi. This is the guy who came in, brother Goliath. Kafte, Kamte, Yishbi tied him and threw him over his shoulder. He put him on olive press to sit on him to crush him. There's a miracle. The ground softened, and therefore when he was sat on, it gave him like a cushion. Okay. The day was Erev Shabbat. Avisha ben Surya have a kama hayv Resheb Arba Garve Meya. At that time, Avishai, who's David's nephew and the brother of the commander of the army, Yoav, he was preparing for Shabbat by washing his hair. Hazina Kitmedma, he saw blood in the water. He realized something was wrong. That was a sign something was wrong. Some say there was a bird came and started thrashing in front of him in distress. Amar said to himself, Knesset Yisrael B'nei Israel compared to Daf Shneimar. It must be, if this dove is in pain, it must be David Melech is in pain. After the Beteh, Abishai went to David's house to see what he was. He didn't find him. Amar, and he said, Tanan, Mishnah says, you're not riding on the king's horse. You can't sit on his throne. You can't use his scepter. What if I want to use his horse to save his life? I said I asked that Tamir Hamim. Amruleh, you're allowed to use it for times of need, of danger. So what do you do? Abishai went on David's mule, and so now he got permission to use it, and he started riding on it. The ground shrunk, he was able to read him faster. But as he was riding, he saw the mother of Yishbi and Goliath. The Habin Navla, she was spinning thread. When she saw Avishai, she broke the thread to make it sharp. Tried to tell the Aliyah, and she threw the sharp dart at Avishai. They tried to kill him, but she missed. Amrle, she told Avishai, Alam, young guy, please bring me the dart that I just threw. It was a mistake. But he realized she was faking it. He threw the dart at her head and killed her. Who was Orpah's sister? Let's do some trivia. Okay. When Yishbi saw Avishai approaching him, now there's two against me, and they both kill me. So therefore he tried to kill David before Avishai reaches him. He tossed David in the air, and he put a spear to try to catch David's body, landing on it. He said David shall fall and die. Avishai saw that David was about to get killed. He said Hashem's name. David was suspended in the air between the ground and the air safely, not to get killed by the spear. How come David did not say his name himself? Gemara says, in a captive can't release himself. David, since it was his problem, since he was in the situation, he couldn't do it to save himself. Gemara says, while David is in the middle area, Avishai asked him, my bait, how'd you enter here? They told him the conversation he had Hashem with whether or not he's able to die himself or through his children should die instead. Amarle said, Avishai told David, reverse your tefillah. Let your children suffer instead. Let your grandson sell wax. Who cares if your grandson's poor, as long as you don't suffer. If you live, you could accomplish more. Amarle said to him, okay, fine, you know what? Done. Help me escape now. I know Avishai ben Surya. He says that Avishai helped him by praying. Avishai said Hashem's name, and David came back safely. When Rishbi tried chasing after them, when they reached Kubi, they said, should we attack him? When they reached the place called Beitre, they realized they can't kill him. Can two of these kids, little boys, can kill him? He's so much stronger. They said, you know what? They told Yishbi, go find Orpah. She's dead and she's in the grave. They told her that he killed her. When he heard that his mother died, he became disheartened. He lost his strength. the Katlan, they're able to kill him. And it says, that's why after this, David Melech soldier said, you can't lead us in war anymore, and you can't let us out of your sight. We can't let you out of our sight because it's dangerous for you, like now. And we're done. We said Abishai had a miracle that he's able to travel so far that he jumped, quote unquote. 3 people it happened to. Eliezer Abraham happened by Eliezer, Yaakov ben Yaakov binu, Abishai ben Surya, and now we said Abishai ben Surya.